everyone, and welcome to this month's theme of media literacy. I'm Nicole Cunningham, joined by,
Joel Christensen.
and we are here to talk about what media is. And so media is something that's all around us. It's how we get news, how we get ideas, as well as entertainment. And Joel, you did talk a little bit earlier about the purpose of it, but what are some different medias that pop up?
That I see every day.
That you see every day.
On the drive to work, billboards. Bus advertisements, I see those. Bus benches. When I get to work, I see my YouTube ads. I see banners on websites. What else do I see on my social media? Little posts that look like a friend made it, but it's really a company that made it.
You see emails.
I see emails.
You see different websites with information when
Correct.
you go researching.
Yeah, absolutely.
When you go home, what do you do?
Oh man, I make lunches for my family.
Oh, that's not what I'm talking about, Joel.
No, of course not.
No, I'm talking about, do you ever watch TV?
I do.
Okay.
I do.
So there's another form of media, right?
Absolutely.
Where maybe you can watch the news, or you can watch some kind of informational documentary, or, there's also media for entertainment purposes as well. And so these are some different examples of what media is. Now, what is media literacy? So now we're adding another word to this. Well, this is where we're going to think critically about the messages that we see on TV, that we hear on the radio, that we read on those billboards. And so this is where we're always going to be thinking to ourselves, is this true? Number one, once you read that information, you're always asking yourself, is this true? And what is the purpose of this message? Because all the messages, it doesn't matter what media we interact with, they all have a purpose. What are some of those different purposes?
Great question. Sometimes it's just to entertain us, right? We see something funny that was clearly made just to make us smile, make our day brighter. Sometimes it's to inform us. So we see something on the news, we're going to talk about maybe, the weather coming up, or we're going to talk about different events in the city. That's to inform us. Those are to kind of give us information. There's also ones made to persuade us. So if it's like trying to get us to buy something or trying to get us to watch a show, right? They're going to structure that media in order to get our attention and make us want to know what happens next. And the last one is, those are the three. Yeah,
Those
and
are the
also
three.
to buy something. Yeah.
Right. Those are those advertisements, right? Your favorite snack, which we'll keep in mind for a little later.
Doritos.
I saw that at lunch. And so why is media literacy important? Well, it helps us. It helps us to understand what we see and what we hear. It helps us to recognize when information is misleading. What does that mean, Joel, when information is misleading?
Well, sometimes if it's not true, if it's giving a perspective on an issue or on a product that isn't really the honest one, it can end up where we don't have all of the information that we need in order to make the best choice for us. And sometimes, like if I can use an example like candy, right? The information that we're seeing isn't really the reality of like cavities and, headaches and all of these different pieces. It's more about like spending time with friends and like, this candy is going to make you have the best time. And so that information, right, it's not really not true. Like you can have a great time with this candy, but it is not necessarily showing you the whole picture of the information.
Absolutely. It is not telling you about your cavities that you're going to get from eating all that candy. And so with that, that kind of leads us into that idea of like digital etiquette. Not only are we consumers of all of this information coming at us, whether it's to persuade or to inform or to entertain, but we're also creators in here and contributors. And so this is where we always need to remember when we revisit this all the time, but that idea of being respectful and responsible anytime that we interact with media and technology. And so what are the three different things that we need to check off every time, Joel?
Think before you post. Respect other people's opinions. You can disagree, but you can also be respectful.
100%.
And use that media to do good things, to spread kindness, to inform, to be a positive person.
Absolutely. And so with that, I wanted to kind of talk a little bit about the idea. You talked about like those advertisements and for the candy, right? And I want to dive a little bit deeper into the idea of how graphics and images, as well as video and sound, how they can enhance communication and really try to drive a message or the purpose of that message home, so that, when they add music, They add music
Mhm.
to the beginnings of shows, or to try to entice people to listen to it. They add pictures which help to explain. So if you go to the Edmonton Journal online, you're going to see different pictures. You're also going to see them in the paper version of the newspaper. And so you're going to see pictures that help to explain those stories with maybe captions on them. You can see the comic strip here, right? That's going to give you a different idea as to when they say zap, yeah, to be continued. It gives you a different feeling. And then, of course, sound effects to add drama. So like a little bit of that music kind of comes in here again, but there might be a pop sound. There might be like just like
thunder rumbling,
rumbling
as the truck drives over like the dusty road, right?
And so all of these things, these three pieces together really do help to build a different perspective or image or like feeling within the people that are consuming that. So that would be you and I and all of you. And so what I want to do is I just want to give you an example. So this is a book that you might recognize because it might be sitting somewhere in your mentor text for your English language arts and literature. But if we push play here, we're going to listen to it first without sound, and then we're going to listen to it with sound. And so can you just go forward just a little bit on it?
Sure.
So we'll watch about 30 seconds of it. Joel, can you turn the sound back on?
I'd love to.
So what I want you to do is I want you to think about, we're just going to keep hitting those sounds, right? We just got those sounds coming. But how did the sound, once we turned it on, change the way you felt? Thinking about it without the sound, you just saw pictures of like a little crab, a little, some flotsam, as they call it, which is like debris on the ocean. You just saw those things, but did that hold your interest? Even the beginning of this video, what did it end up starting with?
Some jammy tunes.
Some jammy tunes to get you interested in it. As soon as we turned on the sounds, even though it is a wordless book, so it's just full of pictures, once we add that sound to it of the water, does that help to bring you into that beach scene a little bit more and help you kind of feel that experience?
Absolutely.
It totally changes the way you feel, right?
Yeah.
And so did that make the message stronger or weaker, Joel?
Well, it made me pay more attention.
100%.
So I guess that makes it stronger.
Which means, and that's the whole idea of enhancing that communication. And so we'll just knock through that one more time. Here's a variety of different images that Coca-Cola has used in their advertisements. And so you can see the one up here is with robots kind of advertising a piece of a movie. I think maybe is that kind of from like the Wild Robot?
I don't know.
It looks kind of similar to it.
Kind of does.
Then of course you've got the one in the middle with Santa, just about to take that first sip of a freshly cracked open bottle of Coca-Cola. Then you have a family having an outdoor picnic outside in their backyard. Together tastes better, promoting that idea of family. Then you have the one over here where it's a whole bunch of Coca-Cola bottles on the soccer pitch for all of you athletes out there. Then of course your friends in the middle cheersing each other, right? They're celebrating some kind of accomplishment. Maybe they just won that soccer game. And then even a picture from way back in the probably 50s, I would say, of Coca-Cola and it bringing people together. So when you look at all of these pictures, I want you to think, how did each of these advertisements make you feel when you saw them? Did the Wild Robot one take you more into that entertainment kind of zone? Like, oh, you know what? It's really great to go grab myself a Coca-Cola and watch a movie. Did the Santa one remind you of Christmas, right? And celebrating with your family? And of course, that's when we all get to have that Coca-Cola, right? Some extra sugar.
Time, yeah.
Now, also just thinking with these advertisements, it's the same product. There's different images, different colors in the images, still along that like red kind of tone built in though. But really, these 6 different images give you 6 different feelings.
Not me. I feel thirsty.
Thirsty. But of course, Joel, what does this not advertise?
Like,
The misleading piece.
yeah, like the terrible health effects of Coke and just liquid sugar and all of those negative health effects that the soda industry have contributed to in the larger population of the world.
It doesn't tell you that it's going to take the rust off of a nail.
No.
Does it?
Dissolve a chicken bone. No, it doesn't.
It doesn't tell you any of those things.
No,
So,
it says we're going to have a good time. It's going to be beautiful and warm. It's going to be like a time with friends. It's going to be a festive time. Yeah, it's all about, and again, when we talk about what's the purpose behind this, the purpose behind this is to make us feel like the Coca-Cola is a part of all of these things.
right, and they're persuading you
Mhm.
to grab that Coca-Cola, which has made Joel thirsty. Right?
Yeah, but for water.
For water, because it's much better.
For water.
And so here too are a bunch of different fonts and different colors of fonts. And so text also makes a really big difference and really does change the way that a set of words are communicated. So like the vintage sign beside Joel, that one gives you that idea of like that vintage back in the 70s kind of vibe, right?
High
the old blue
quality
jeans,
kind of,
right?
yeah.
And so bright colors generally, they make you feel really happy. And then of course, dark colors, they can make you feel concerned, they can make you feel scared, right? And so they use those colors in movies all the time, right? To entice those feelings along with that addition of some kind of music. Right? To add that piece. And so here's a couple of AI generated images that I want you to look at. So everyone's familiar with the three little pigs and the big bad wolf. Here are two different headlines. So headlines on a newspaper article. I want you to think which one seems more positive and how do these pictures and even the words and the fonts that are used change what you think. So the first one says, heroic pigs outsmart the big bad wolf. Joel, what does that make you think?
Good job, pigs. Big bad wolf deserves what he got.
Right, and so they live happily ever after, right? Is that whole idea?
Look at those smiling pigs.
Absolutely. But then we look at the next one. It says, chaos in the forest. Wolf left homeless after house mishaps.
Ooh, I feel a little bad for the wolf. I feel like that picture definitely looks like a rainy, sitting under a tree, unhappy. Yeah, it definitely doesn't give me the same kind of feelings.
No, but it's the same story.
It is the same story.
Right?
It's interesting.
And so this happens a lot in the news where you'll have the same picture, but you'll have two different headlines. So this one we gave you two different pictures, but lots of times you'll have the same picture, but then you have two different headlines, which then take you into two different perspectives on the story. So noting that media literacy is being able to identify the different perspectives inside of that story as well.
Maybe there's bias, right? Like maybe one newspaper is written by wolves and the other newspaper is written by the pigs, and how, oh, I'm going to feel, because this is about a wolf, I'm going to really focus in on the sadness of the wolf. Whereas if we're talking from the pig's perspective, it's a good thing that they obviously outsmarted the wolf and were able to kind of get away.
Right, absolutely. They went to the brick house. And so as we've been talking through this, technology manipulates the images and sounds. So we have this also side piece. We've talked about the graphics, we've talked about the text, we've talked about the sounds. But not all of those are real. Technology today can change them. And we see that through filters on photos, as in here, this woman is now on the moon, right? And different versions of that. We have the ability to edit videos. And so we can add pieces in, we can change the voiceovers. I don't know if any of you have seen the Connor McDavid ones for the Oilers hockey, right? That they manipulate the voices on. But also like the auto-tune voices. So you can change the voice completely. And you can use tools out there that will mimic somebody's voice. So they might take Joel's voice and add it over top. And so not everything out there can be trusted because it can be altered this way. And so just looking at these pictures, real versus edited, what's the difference here, Joel?
Well, the picture on Closer to You has a cloudy sky. It's got kind of a mixed lawn. Looks a little better than mine, but kind of on the browner side of green. It's a house is kind of like in shadow because it's not a sunny day. Yeah, it still isn't a big, nice house, but it's definitely, if you look at the one that's closer to me, this is like sunny day. This is, the color of the house seems much more brighter. the sky is blue, the grass is green.
So this photo has been filtered and edited so that it will entice you to, I mean, we all want to be outside on a beautiful summer day, right, with the blue sky and a bright green, fresh lawn that is really great to walk across in your bare feet. And so it definitely kind of misleads people a little bit, because when they get there, it's not going to look like that. It's going to look like the picture closer to me. But this is something that they do a lot in advertisements. And then, of course, this image, what do you notice?
Right off the hop, this it looks like a sunset, sunrise. It's got that kind of soft pink lighting. It's a little bit brighter, so it kind of makes me feel like it's a warmer day. It's more
playful.
Yeah, I want to be
Definitely
outside.
more playful. Throwing that airplane, absolutely. So you can see how the colors and the slight image tailors, right? I can call it that. They've tailored the image a bit. And they change that feeling that is being elicited from us. And then, of course, oh, wow.
Who's that handsome guy?
Which one is the real photo? And so there's all kinds of apps and web services out there that can change those photos. And so here, Joel and I have used one to turn him into a little bit of a leprechaun, because, of course, it is March.
It is.
And it is St. Patrick's Day coming up. So just know that not everything you see is true, is real, is accurate. So some smart questions to ask might be,
who made it, right? Whose intention is this? Why did they make it, right? We talked about those 3 reasons. Is it to inform us? Is it to entertain us? Or is it to persuade us? What do they make me feel? And how is that on purpose, or is that something that's within me? And then the last one, can I trust this information? Is it a reliable source? Is it a source that I can come back to for information, or is it really just about getting that entertainment effect?
and so I think that an important thing is social media, for example. You might just be starting to encounter some social media at this point, and just know that a lot of these things are filtered. They're not real. People don't actually look like that. And so just knowing that, being able to ask those questions and determine whether they're real or not is really going to help you in being able to understand the messaging behind everything.
See through it.
See through the misleading information. And so just noting that being a good digital citizen, that whole responsible participation, builds that safe, supportive digital environment with us. And as we kind of move forward, what we would like you to do is now it's your turn.
Hey.
Earlier we talked about an advertisement for our favorite snack, not candy.
Yeah.
And
Much
so
healthier.
I want you to think of a healthy alternative for a favorite snack, and I want you to create an advertisement, one where you add color, images, and words. And so play with the fonts. It can be done on paper, drawn, or it can be done digitally through Google Drawings, Chrome, Sketch.io, or Book Creator, or any of those kind of tools like that. And so I want you to create an advertisement that makes people, that where you communicate how you feel about that snack. So it's your favorite snack, so it's got to bring you happiness and joy. And then think about how if you change the color slightly and play with them, change them a little bit, see what happens. Does it change the feeling that advertisement does bring? And so just knowing that, you're all kind of gold star media detectives here. Teachers, there's also some additional resources here for you. And so for grade 4, we are diving into Common Sense Media's A Creator's Rights and Responsibilities, where they're going to define what copyright is and how it applies to creative works. And so this is a nice extension off of our media literacy session today. Grade 5s are going to be looking at reading news online and kind of using the news and online news resources to help you interpret what you actually see online and whether it is real or fake, which dives a little bit more into those grade 6 finding credible news. This is definitely where you're going to look at how you can weed out that bad or that fake news and information and really look at what sources are credible and how to determine whether they're credible or not. And so we look forward to seeing you next month. Enjoy your media literacy, and we will see you again soon. Bye.
Bye.